Hey everybody! It is 30 minutes of awesome. How we doing tonight? Today. If I slip over, we got starting at 5 p.m. I guess if I flip it to the other side, maybe. That camera view didn't work. So, we bounced off support. Number one, right up there. We bounced off support. But, can we get continuation higher? That's the big question, right? We moved up, one initial move up off support, and then we've retraced a 618 retrace. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Then we need to discuss potential risks that lie in wait in the market right now. We have Powell testifying again tomorrow. That was the big thing that was happening half the day today. And then we continued down to support after the testimony quit. And, you know, they grilled him for hours, almost on the same thing, hammering over and over that 12 times in the past, I mean, Pocahontas basically spelled it out, 12 times in the past, when we've seen at least 1 percentage point inflation reduction, we have seen multi-percentage points unemployment rate rise. So it's in the current size of our economy, like a 1% unemployment rise would be like 3 million people losing their job. And she had a valid point. And 11 out of 12 of those previous instances, we have seen this continue past 1 year, these job losses. And it led to a recession. It was all completely valid. And the market didn't like it. And Powell kind of sat there squirming the whole time because he didn't like it. Sometimes the truth and the reality of history is hard to argue with, and that was one of those cases. So if you missed that whole thing, they really kind of put the screws to him, getting him to admit that we may very well experience job losses in the economy because of his actions. And I just wanted to talk about it briefly. You know, it wasn't like some major new news, but it was a dose of reality, and the market didn't respond favorably to it. But was the market responding to that, or was it just getting the pullback that we already needed on the chart? It's hard to say. If you watched the morning session this morning on the Morning Monster, I was talking about that if we broke down below the levels, that we'd probably see a retrace to the market roadmap line, and that we did. So number 3 coming up today, though. Your favorite stocks. We'll take requests as usual. I've already got some in the chat. And remember, Super Chat is now available. It's the little $ thing at the bottom down there next to where you put something into the chat. If you want to pay me $1, I will prioritize your tickers over everybody else's and give you what I feel on it. So just letting you know. But you don't have to do that. As always, 30 minutes awesome. I'm going to stick around and do at least 30 minutes of requests. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation here, informational, educational, and fun, is not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. You desire that personal financial advice, hire, consult a financial advisor. Yes, happy Tuesday, Kimberly, George, John, Al, Lee, Tara. Welcome, everybody. And for the 50 or 60, 70, I don't know, 80 other people watching, welcome. If you're brand new here, make sure you shout it out. I'd love to welcome you if you're brand new. Never been to one of these before because, hey, I like to give you the personal treatment. So anyway, jumping over. Look at this chart we started out with this morning in the Morning Monster. We discussed that we might see a return back to the roadmap line. This thing kind of stalled out right up here where the doji was a few days ago, a hammer, whatever you want to call it. That candle right there from February 17th, we kind of stalled out right in that same range yesterday, making a croquet hammer, upside down hammer, whatever, inverted hammer, however you want to call it. And I guess maybe a tombstone. I don't know. Anyway, right back to the roadmap line. I'm not good at the candle patterns. I just, as far as the Japanese candle patterns, but I do like the Fibonacci patterns. And you know what? This thing retraced from right down here to right up here. Look at that magic. 618 right there. that can be a measured bounce setup if we break higher tomorrow. Now, if we push on down to the 786 and break below 3960, there is a high likelihood that we push on down to about this 3880 level, 3890, 38, right down in here. All right. So cautious. This is a dangerous minefield of opportunity right here. Opportunity to drop, opportunity to prove me right on the bounce. So there's this is highly, like I'm paying attention to this sucker right now. Come back for the morning show. I'm live again tomorrow morning, 9:15. If you want alerts, make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell thing with the little hash marks so you get alerts when I'm going live. I try to hit 9:15 every morning, and I will give my opinion on what's been happening overnight and what's likely the move for the day. So you want that update every day? Come watch the morning show. Anyway, moving on. Next up, popping down. ES pushing. Almost took back two days ago. Almost took back Friday. Not quite. Didn't quite get to the bottom of that. So right back down there to the roadmap line. Classic. This is a 618 retrace also. Nasdaq right there. Same kind of situation. Not quite as deep though. Let's see. Yeah, we only hit the 50% on Nasdaq. Didn't quite reach the 618. Didn't quite touch the roadmap line either. So Nasdaq looking a little more bullish than the S&P 500. And then, as I said for a little while, I thought Russell needed to touch the roadmap line. Like I said it back here. I said it again right here. I was kind of disappointed it came up short. I said it again here. I was disappointed it came up short, especially after it was popping up here. And then look, right back down in the neighborhood. We could finally get that touch, finish up this correction, and move on. So I kind of feel like Russell is leading a little bit on the market, and this may be a little more advanced than what we see on ES, which is the S&P 500, or NQ, which is the Nasdaq. So if you're unfamiliar with those. Looking at oil real quick, nice big slam down. That's kind of the side effect of the dollar going a little bit crazy. Let's see, where did I put the dollar? Right there it is. The dollar was popping today. That's not the right dollar chart. Let's see. Jump back to the morning monster list. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. There's the dollar not delayed. Look at that sucker. Right up to that resistance, that prior high. Now, last time we came up to that level, that's cool. I don't know why that alert popped up. Last time we popped up to that level, we got slammed down, and it was like 2 weeks of down after that. Popped right up there and down. Watch for the dollar to signal weakness. Now, it could rally a little bit more. We could get more of a retrace because it was one big monster move down. Let's remove that and put a fib line on here from the high to the low. If this breaks out here, we could see it rally back up to this 110 area. Right now, lately, that has been not so great for the market. As the dollar climbs, the market has been dropping. And by the market, I mean the S&P 500. So it's one thing to be cognizant and aware of. If we start breaking out up through 106, this thing could get some legs and rally up to this 109 area. Now, that's probably going to be bearish for commodities such as oil, gold, and other metals like copper. So be aware that the dollar kind of weighs on that stuff right there. All right. Circling back over to oil. Nice big down. And I talked about this for a couple weeks, that we probably just ping pong around in this little wedge until we get on further down. At some point, we're probably going to break out. My guess was somewhere over here and maybe even further over. And we're either going to get a pop or we're going to get a drop down in the 64 area. We'll either pop up in the 90s or we'll drop down in the 60s. Otherwise, we're just going to keep consolidating in this little wedge until we get down here where there's nowhere left to go except to pop up or down. Which way? I don't know. That's why I call it the watermelon seed squeeze play, because usually when you squeeze a watermelon seed, you don't really know which way it's going to go. So, yeah. The dollar did put a hurting on gold too, so that's what that... It looked like it was going to bounce right back to the roadmap line. We'll try again here in a couple days, I'm sure. Natural gas, not as beat down as everything else. Kind of seen a little bit of a... Yesterday it took its beating, and then today potentially bouncing. Did touch the 50% retrace here. Could go a little deeper down to the 618. I did expect a retrace after that like monster gapping up rally it had for like what, 6 days, 7 days, 8 days, 8 days there. You know, spiked down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. Spiked right up there, and then retrace. This one continuing higher can get legs on the move, and the next move would be if we just blast off from right where we are. The next move I would watch out for 351 area right here, this level. If we can get above that, then 379 above that can take us up to 415. So that's kind of the levels on natural gas there. But this will be the initial resistance right in here. This is what, that level is what I kind of expect us to go test. Right in there. All right. Like we talked about gold, you know, false start, return to the line, 5 yard or 5, you know, what, 20-point penalty. So right back to the roadmap line. All right. That's my weak attempt at a football joke, I guess. Copper may return to the roadmap line. Hasn't been there since early January. Might be due for a touch. One more little retrace here can get us there pretty quickly. Lumber, just farting around down at the bottom. Probably going to push to make a lower low. Housing futures. Let's look at that on the weekly because you can't see it on the daily. It bounced right off the 50% retrace. Looks like it can push on down for another leg. We'll see if that manifests itself as just a 618 retrace. 50, 618. So it can hold this area. I really need to move this down here. If we hold this right in here for housing, then we can bounce and go higher. But if we crush down below there, probably breaching this level, we're probably going on down. And then wheat futures looked horrible. My trade on wheat just never panned out there. So that's all I got to say about that. All right. Bitcoin. Let's talk about something really quickly, and then I'll go through your requests. So get them ready. Bitcoin's kind of waiting. The news that came out the last couple of days is that SI may blow up. Now, FTX and Mr. Sam banking fraud, whatever, Bankman-Fried, he said that running a crypto exchange was a tale of two times: the time before Silvergate and the time after Silvergate. Meaning that when Silvergate came along, it made things a lot easier. Now, they kind of helped grease the wheels, so to speak, for FTX and Alameda to abuse customer funds. And I think they've taken some massive losses on that front. And here, there were lots of hedge funds piling up, going long, buying, millions of shares in large percentages. And then we came rocking along here, and somebody called in a favor to get Coinbase and another exchange to shut them down. No more exchanges in and out of Coinbase, and that caused this drop right here. And then the news over the weekend was that they're going to file bankruptcy this week. So we're already 2 days in. They have not yet filed bankruptcy this week. And we're going to see. Is this like battle the billionaires who can rip who? Or is this going to be an ultimate short squeeze? Time's going to tell. This is dangerous, highly dangerous to play in this ground because you don't know who's got what friends to call in what favors. This is kind of like an episode of Billions playing out right here, where you've got hedge fund billionaires doing whatever it takes to create the pain on each other. So right now, the shorts appear to be winning, and the longs are getting ripped a little bit. So we don't know their ultimate positions because they only update every 3 months or so. Just be careful if you mess with that one. And What that's causing, though, is for Bitcoin and everything else to take a pause while this plays out. Like, are they actually going to file bankruptcy? Is it going to cause problems in the greater crypto market? We don't really know, but everything's kind of holding up the roadmap line so far. And that, to me, is very positive. You know, Ethereum getting a little pullback today. And if we can hold on the roadmap line and bounce higher, break out above these highs, I mean, the Bitcoin and Ethereum charts both look very similar. And as goes those two, since Bitcoin's 42% of the market and Ethereum is 18% of the entire value of the crypto market, so goes pretty much all the altcoins. Not all of them, and not everything's going to move. You got stable coins that don't move, and you got things that buck the trend, and you got scams and frauds and 23 other thousand things out there. So just be careful. One that did hit an alert earlier today, Litecoin, about to come down to the roadmap line on the daily. Watching that very closely. We get a bounce there. This one, look at this. Right in that zone, auto zone becomes a measured bounce setup, and this one can propel higher. This one has a halving event coming up in August, and we could see a major rally on Litecoin. So, all right, moving on to your requests. So let's see. Looks like George got here early, threw in AI, and yeah, just kind of. I expected it to drop down and test the roadmap line. It decided to pop on that earnings there last week. Came up, did not make a higher high, made a lower high. I would be cautious right now. This is one, if you're long, this is the kind of thing that makes me nervous, because we stopped at that 786 right there, that blue line. And you know what? If the first move down, let's just use this arrow. This first move down, and let's copy it, paste it, is equal to the next move down, right off the high right there. Take us right down in here. So I don't think I quite got that perfectly, because it should hit this right here. Let's see. First move down, third move down. Oh, probably in the log scale. There we go. Yeah. That high right there to that low right there. High right there. Coming down again. Put us right down in this $18 area. So, yeah, watch that. Yeah. That train's like, it's a while, it's a ways back there. So, there is a train that runs by here. And, I don't know, traffic's been a little crazy out there today. So, I'm sorry if you hear that. So, all right. That's what I see on AI. If we can't break out higher, if we start breaking down, we've got that gap to fill right there. We get back below that level, probably coming down here to test the roadmap line. All right, next up. Lost a few. All right. Can't scroll the chat for some reason today. That's cool. Love that. There we go. All right, Mora. And come on. Yeah, all right. All right. All right. I covered ETH and I covered AI for you, George. Mora, just doing that retrace. It's sitting right at that 786 of, so we popped up. Let's start right back here in December. We popped up, nice rally, retrace 618. Popped up again into February, mid-February, retraced to a 786. Breaking down below this can lead to a lower low around 466. If we can hold this right here and break above these highs right around 750, I'm not saying it will happen, but if we can, that's going to get an extension and take us right out to 15 potentially, maybe even up to this 24 area. If we start breaking down though, down to 466, and I'm going to have to adjust all the numbers if that plays out. So there's the stuff to watch. We start breaking those lows, and I'm going to have to readjust everything. So that's Mora. Wish it was better news, but it's not. Merck right here has a potential measured bounce setup. Pulled up, retraced, pulled up, retraced. Holding the 618 right there. Breaking higher, even though it kind of pulled back today. It's an indication that we can see this bigger rally right up into these levels. Looking for 115, you know, retest of the high primarily, and then extensions 119, 123, and yeah, these other extensions kind of form a little bit of confluence, not perfect, but somewhere in that 119 area looks pretty good. We could see an extension all the way out to this 120, 123 area on MRK. So that is one. I am in a long echo trade on Merc right now, MRK. Next up, we did Bitcoin MVDA. Yeah, just kind of getting the next little extension. Working on, right now it's having trouble. We need to break above this level right here. This was a resistance zone right around that 240 area. That's why that big arrow stopped right there. And prices kind of stopped right there. If we zoom it on up, grab the zoom tool. Look, we stopped right in that, right where that top of that thing was. We've been there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. Not able to break above it. So that was resistance. The reason I put it up there is it was resistance. We may see it retrace. It left a gap from right down here at 207 to up here at 234. It may come down and try to fill that gap. So watch that orange support right there. But the next move higher could take us up to 256 on a good day in the market. Good day in the market. That's what we need, right? LAC has been beaten down and just stuck on the roadmap line. It had this like seed squeeze. It tried to break out down, kind of popped back up, and sitting down here in a zone where it can just break down. I would be cautious. Can just decide to drop or pop any day now on seemingly no news. So this was a lower low, so be cautious. Now, potentially that was it, and we get the 618 retrace. Maybe something bullish can pop out of here, but we're gonna have to break above 27. If we start breaking down below 21, maybe 2050, watch out below. Like it's gonna be down in this zone right here. All right, that's LAC. Next up, down to AMD. This one looks pretty darn good. I'm long AMD, looking for this next move up. 95 is really my target zone. We came up a little shy there. 95, what I'm kind of expecting. I'd really like to see it pop on up to this 105, 110 area right up here. Get another retrace and then break out higher. Not so sure. Needs to get above 95 first. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That's why that big circle's sitting there hanging out, you know, right around the top of it. Up here, you know, top third starts at 95 and heads up to about 98. That's what I'm kind of looking for. Move up in that zone right there on AMD. Has a very bullish setup. That's a 1-2-1-2 potential, but it's got to break out higher than it did, higher than the highs it had early February. If it keeps failing to do that, then it can roll over and come lower once again. All right, I didn't mean to drag the chart around. Then AAL had a head and shoulders pattern, pretty clear, really balanced. The shoulders and head were very much the same size, kind of. To complete that, it needs a pop right up here to around 20. And so far, made one attempt up, retraced. Can it get the next pop? I don't know. We'll see. Draw the fib line right there. It did a 618 retrace. That can be a measured bounce. Retest the neckline. It was a little bit deep. And it did poke right back to the neckline. The neckline, it was more interested in the neckline than it was the 618 there. So, yeah, we could see a bounce. It can be a nice fast one too. You can just pop right up there. All right, that's AAL. R mark. That looks like stuck. Looked like it was gonna break out, but then slammed right back, filled the gap. I don't know. If you're long on that one, I'd certainly put an alert at 37, maybe 36.80-ish, right where the lows were on these three candles right here, where it just parked for 3 days. Somewhere right around there. If it starts breaking down below that, likely to come to the bottom of this box. If not, break down and retest the low from back here at 30. Be careful on that one. An aggressive long entry would be above this, moving above that right there, right around 39.80, but you're right into resistance where it made a gap. And sometime in the future, it's going to fill this gap, more than likely. Then do we find resistance at the top of the gap, or can we break out and get continuation higher? That's the big question on R mark. All right, BA. Next up, looks like that one may be on a path to do the three-wave type retrace thing. This first move down and the third move down are going to take us close to the roadmap line at some point right over here. Delete that one. Delete that one. Delete that one. Delete that line, delete that line. Move this over. It looks like to me it wants to finish that up right there. Now, when I talk about the first move down, third move down, you can just use the line tool. You don't have to use arrows. You don't have to use fibs. Just take that right there, move it over to that high. You can see right down there to the 100% line right there. And it may take a little bit of time, which would give us, that's where the arrow came from right there. All right, that's BA. Expecting lower there. Expecting a retrace. That looks like it ran out of steam. That initial move down, retraced to a lower high. Probably going to make a third move down. Third wave down. I call them waves because it's from Elliott wave theory. All right, boot. Yeah. Got the 382 retrace, held that zone. I thought it may come down to the 50%, didn't quite get that far. Made an initial move up. 618 retrace, maybe. Let me zoom her on up here. Zoom her up, Buttercup. See what we got. Initial move up. Oh, not what I needed. Wrong fib tool. Yep, 618 retrace right there. Now I need that other fib tool. So wave 3 would go from here to here potentially. Let's remove that for a minute. Then we'll probably see a retrace right here. And then one more extension that would go there, would take it somewhere right around there, maybe not as high as I had originally. May stall out at 95. 95 keeps being a theme here, so that may be all Boot's able to do before it gets a bigger retrace. When I mean a bigger retrace, this whole 5-wave move up, which is what this is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very proportional, very nice looking. It'll probably retrace a 618 of that whole move up. And to show that, I'll remove a few things off the chart so we can clean it up. It would be from right down here to right up here, around 95. And then we probably retrace right back to this 618 level. That's where that big down arrow had come from before. Something right like that. And maybe poke through the roadmap line just a little bit. Find support in the same area where it found support here, found support here. Maybe test it one more time. And then we'll see if we can, what direction we get from there. That may take it into the summer there. All right, that's Boot. Evan's got a fascinating pattern, so I have been watching that one, but I haven't been trading it since the initial move. So cat looks like it's going to come down one more time. I like it. First move down, retrace. That probably got a 618 retrace. Yep. That was the 618 retrace up, so probably likely to extend down again. And that's like, just use the tool, the line tool right there, move it over. Likely to come down in this zone right there. Probably retrace to about 225 maybe. And next up, coin. Stuck on the roadmap line. If it can break out above 73, we'll probably get the extension up to this zone. We've got this prior high to deal with right up here around that 115, 116 area, right around there. And my line's all crooked. So looking for that to break above that high right in there around 73 to get the extension higher. If we can't do it, we may see a pullback on down to about this 45 level. Certainly we break below this low that we made at 54. Watch out below. All right. GS. I'm running behind on the questions, so hold on. GS looks like right back to the roadmap line. Holding the 786, and can it pop out of here? That's the question. That's the bigger market question. If it can get the continuation, that one's set up to go higher. If not, it'll probably come down here and test this 320 area on GS. And then Delta Victor November, DVN. Looks like it's got a date with the support line. Still looking for that. Now put that on the chart all the way back here in November. Still looking for it to finish up. Maybe you don't want that, but 48. It looks like it's going to come down here right 49.50 area and finish that up. All right. MU. I am definitely behind here. Sideways. That just looks like a channel sideways. I mean, there's bottom, top, date with the bottom. That's what that looks like. That's a pretty easy one. All right. NEM. Newmont looks like not a great chart. Needs to hold 41, otherwise it can extend to a lower low. There's somebody else's muffler if you can hear it. Tennessee people notorious for no mufflers. Or no whatever. Sounds like crap. And that's NEM. All right. ETSY. Come on. It's probably going to retest this low. Right there. Breaks below that. We could see a bigger pull down. And where might it go? I mean, right there, it needs to hold this because that looks really good for bullish, but breaks down below that. I'm not so sure what it's going to do. There's the potential for that to be kind of a... It doesn't even count good. It needs to hold above that. It breaks below that, and the pattern's all messed up. It's all junked up. We hold there, it can go higher. Quite a bit higher. It does have resistance that'll probably have a little trouble getting through right there. But it's congested. Congested at this point. Yeah, RS. Whew. It's like straight up. You can see we a little trouble getting through the 618, and 275 is the next stop right up there. Excuse me. higher that goes, the faster, the more likely it is it comes right back down in that same kind of steep angle. Things that go up crazy tend to come right back down crazy. Just be careful. All right, Ulta is a monster, a super beast. Talked about that this morning. They have earnings coming up here this week. Watch out on Thursday evening. Probably talk about it Friday morning. My target is right up here around 580. I think you can get there. Take one little nice pop right there. Right up there and get it. It may, there is the risk it comes back to the roadmap line from right up here. So that is a risk. So far, they've been absolutely printing money. The type people that shop there have been spending money like crazy, apparently. They're very efficient at converting their dollars into bottom line, converting their sales. Looking like 3 billion sales and estimate 567 per share. That's the stuff that higher highs are made of right there. All right. KRE. That looks pretty bad. Just does. It looks bad. And SONO. That has the potential to break out. Looks like it's going to finish filling that gap right there. It's got to get above that to do anything. And then we've got resistance where it slammed down that. You see how it made this spike right there? That'll be a little resistance it's got to get through too. So that means sellers were right there waiting. When it spiked up, sellers hit it hard and then gapped it down on earnings, and it's got some stuff to prove there. Now this does look bullish, but it's got some stuff to work through. So I'm cautiously bullish on Sono. It can definitely pull down right back to these lows one more time. Right there. I mean, in fact, if I was betting, I would bet it would do this before it bounces again. All right, Apple. We break out over this where we've double, triple topped right there. We break out over that 99 is like the target. I'm going to go ahead and agree with the analysts that are expecting 99 on that one. We break out through that 158 area, sets it on a path for 99. Now, we've kind of come up, bounced off the roadmap line, bounced off my pseudo roadmap line where I put it, not where it actually was, and popped up again, found resistance at that same point. That's once, twice, 3 times now. Moving down again. It needs to get continuation. It's got to get up out of here. Otherwise, this can lead to a bigger retrace down to this 135 area. 135, 136. So, Snap getting a rally off of TikTok getting banned. But this is like a horrible looking chart. Has gap down stacked on top of gap down. And that whole zone up to 23, or almost 23, is a giant resistance of gap down. So it's got that one from right there that it has not filled. It's got this one from up here that it has not filled. That's got some stuff to work through. That looks like a dead chart. I mean, who uses Snap? I don't even know anybody that uses Snap right now. So I've never used it. That's the kid's toy, right? All right. AAPL. I don't use Facebook either, so never been on there. YouTube is where I am. Stuck. Couldn't get through the resistance and retrace back to the roadmap line. It's got to get above 156 to get continuation higher. Gets back below the roadmap line. We could see it move down to this 130 area right down here. That's ABBV for you. NTC has been sucking it up. Held the lows. That's a double bottom right now. But look, sure does look like it wants to get a lower low. Sure does. All right. Amazon. Stuck in the zone. Can't break down, can't break up. If it holds this, it can be bullish. That is... I'm surprised I don't even have a fib line on here, but yeah. Basically holding in here around right at the 618 level right there. Breakout above, well, the top up here, around 99-ish. Break back above 99. We can see a run. Otherwise, kind of expecting sideways a little bit. A little consolidation here. So, unsure until it breaks above 99. It can pop up here and pull down again before we can get going. So, that's Amazon. All right. Yeah, mascara and all the things makeup and beauty. Yeah. All right. Anybody else? So that's I made it. I caught up with y'all. Any good leap ideas? Not right now. I'm not so sure. Not sold on the direction here yet. As I started out, I'm cautious on what we got cooking right here. Cautious. We can run right back down and hit the line one more time. So far, we held support on the S&P 500. We held that support that I've had drawn on there for a good little while. Came up, retraced to the roadmap line. Classic. It was a 618 retrace. So the next couple days are going to tell us, are we popping or are we going to drop? When we start breaking below, like I said, start breaking below this 39.50 area. Watch out for a deeper retrace. And all the levels we've talked about before kind of start coming into play. Load up the simple chart. We could see on the simple chart this come down and retrace down to this area. Be like 38.70-ish. Just be careful. That's still in the works. Now we definitely want to see it hold this orange zone right here. We break below that, a lower low becomes more and more likely. That's what we see. Do still expect a retest of this 4,300 area before we roll lower, if we were going to roll lower. And above 4,300 sets us up for a higher high. And that's really my primary big picture expectation. So we just have some stuff to work through, like jobs this week, and then CPI next week, and then FOMC the week after, and Jay Powell testifying tomorrow. So I think he just says more of what he said today. The market didn't like it yesterday, or didn't like it today, I guess, if you want to roll that way. But it did look like we needed that 618 retrace. So that's what we got. Remember, subscribe, hit the bell with the things if you want to get notified when I go live in the morning. I'll be back with the morning Monster, because I drink Monster Energies in the morning and get my day started, because I don't care for coffee. Something about hot liquids. So, all right, everybody. Make sure you hit me up in Discord if you got questions. And if you want to get in Discord, links in the description. $5 can get you in there. So I'll see you later. Have a great day. Spend the evening with loved ones if you got them. So see you later. Have a great one.